My garden's feeling really empty, so I'm gonna go plant a bunch of seeds. I'm probably going to regret that because it's gonna get overwhelming, but right now I'm feeling sad not having more things grow here. So here I do have some jalapenos growing. I've just taken out my Brussels sprouts, which are literally like a tree. And then this is just all weeds. So many weeds. Change of plans. I feel like it's going to be more effort to be planting in this when there's so many roots in here. And I reckon it's just kept spreading because I've weeded it and it's just gone off. So I'm going to cover this with cardboard and just let it rest. Transplanted some of my suckers over here from the tomatoes, so we'll see if they take. There's 3 here, and I laid down my comfrey to give them a bit of shelter. Eggplant did not take. Cucumbers are coming up, but they're so slow, so we'll see how they go. And then a lot of this is just growing weeds at this point. So I just realized that these gardens are probably not doing as well as all the other ones because they're our 2 original gardens, and they've grown us heaps of vegetables all through the summer, all through autumn, spring, winter, and now they're growing us beans in summertime. But instead of planting a bunch of new plants into this would normally be the time in winter when I'm preparing for spring, or in autumn time when I'm preparing for winter crops. So instead of using this and planting things that probably won't take, I think I'm just going to cover it up with cardboard, let it rest, pack it with nutrients, maybe bring some new compost in or something, and just let it go for now. As we're getting closer to autumn time, I might be able to plant some onions or potatoes in here, cool crops that are going to need a bit of time. So yeah, it's probably best just to let the beans do their thing for now. Found a few things to harvest, a few onions, few carrots. They're so little. Bit of oregano. This year in my garden, I really want to take away this idea of having a to-do list, having all these chores and jobs that you have to do in the garden, and instead I want to try to go out there, enjoy the experience, see what needs to get done in the moment, and go with the flow. And I think today was a perfect example of that, because I went out there thinking I was going to plant and then realizing that actually there's a bunch of things that haven't been harvested, there's weeds in the garden that need to be taken out, and the bed is going to be better off resting rather than being planted again just yet. So I'm curious to see how this method's going to go. I really do like being quite experimental in my garden. You might notice that we're using a lot of different principles and gardening methods like back to Eden, permaculture, a bit of no dig, and a few other tidbits that I find along the way that I trial out in my garden. I'm still so new to this and I don't want to be stuck doing one thing forever, so I'd rather see what works best for me and my lifestyle. Check out this monster. Masha, you didn't have enough of being a porch chicken, you've come back. She's back. Or did you herd her here? Huh? Did you tell her what to do? Yes, you. I know what you did. I know what you did. I see that tail. I know what you did. What did you do? What did you do? So the best place to get some fertilizer or some fresh material for the bedding so that we can pump some nutrients into it is right here from my chickens. Luckily, we have a rooster that loves to go into one of these nesting boxes. The girls only ever use one, and the other one just gets pooped on at night time. So this is packed with nutrients. On these days when I clean the chicken coop is a great day to also fertilize and give my garden back some love. You shouldn't put fresh chicken poo onto your gardens and your vegetables because, as you saw with the meat chickens, the nitrogen in their poop is so strong that it just burns everything underneath it. So it's better to let it compost, or like I'm doing right now, let it go into the garden where nothing else is planted. And once it has done its magic, then you can plant things into it. Good morning, it's a new day and once again, no to-do list today. We are just going to go out into the garden and see what needs to get done. Last night I did have a look over the garden and the sheep and just a walk through the property, and I'm thinking that today I might move our compost pile so that it's more accessible from the house. I'm going to continue covering up the old summer beds with cardboard and getting them full of nitrogen and minerals so that they're ready to plant in, and yeah, just see where the day takes me. When I took down the old sheep fence, I also grabbed this tarp so that we can use this instead of cardboard. Hi sheep, good morning. Good morning. Hi sheep. The absolute best thing about having the sheep here on this side is finally we don't have to worry about mowing the lawns on this big pastured area. They're going to do it for us. You've seen them do it in our forest area, and now they're going to do it where it's needed the most, and they're going to have a great time doing it. I wonder if that zucchini has anything growing yet. Let's see. Are you a zucchini or are you a pumpkin? What are you? I don't see anything growing yet. Not sure. We have really dropped the ball with the compost pile over this busy period of time. It seems to be something that we really try hard at during the autumn and winter times when we're swapping things over and all of the summer things are starting to wilter and die off. We throw them into the compost pile and we seem to be all over it while we have heaps of time and it's nice and cool outside. But during the spring and the summer, whether it's all the rains that we've had or the warm weather when the rain isn't here, it just means we haven't really been doing too much to this. So I'm going to take this compost area and actually move it underneath the house over there. That way we are not having to travel really far just to bring our things into the compost pile. It's going to be really accessible. We can just take it straight out of the kitchen and onto the compost pile, and I'm hoping that that's going to keep us more accountable. Lots of pollinators in the garden today, lots of bees doing their thing on the borage. Oh, the grass. So my giant pumpkin is now this big. I might just hang him up there like that so that it can be better protected. I haven't seen any others that are that big though. I think they're more hidden away than that one is. A lot have like rotted away, which is a shame, or are rotting away. That's a good one. This looks like a crossbreed. Even the leaves look very different. So I don't think that's a butternut. That one's got a rot, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Yeah, only one pumpkin so far. Oh, let me tell you guys about these beans. So these beans are bush beans, and I've started drying them off because a lot of them have gotten really big. And also we have so many packets of beans in our freezer, we can't keep up. But the cool thing about these beans is that the actual bean inside, when it's dry, is blue. So it's really super pretty. Right now it's green. How weird. So right now they look like this. And I'll have to show you some of the ones that I've already dried out so you can see how they go blue. And it's just, I can't believe that they're not blue right away. Weird. I've just realized an unintentional miracle that I have done in my garden. So just from the layout of how I have the beds in random places and going in different directions, both vertical and horizontal, and the fact that I started my pumpkins only in this patch at the front, what pumpkins naturally like to do is spread out. And you can see with my giant pumpkin that it's just gone for a walk. And all of the vines that are actually spreading themselves are the ones that are doing the best in the garden so far. The ones further away that are kind of stuck in the middle haven't done as much. They are still trying, but they're just not as healthy as these vines that have gone for a walk. And now, essentially what I can do because of the way that I've planted my garden, all of the pumpkins that start over here and start to run can go through my corn, and pumpkin and corn naturally work well together. Then I can weave it through the other bed of corn and down to the last bed of corn. So what's going to happen is I'll have pumpkins all through my garden. They'll be covering up the soil to keep it moist. They'll also be keeping off that hot sun from the roots to keep everything nice and healthy and growing really well. And I'll have heaps of pumpkins. So from these plants, I'll be able to plant out pumpkins in my whole garden without even realizing. Pretty cool. Let's see how long it takes the chickens to realize there's a gap in the fence. Now the reason I'm continuing to use string to tie together my compost pile instead of making it more permanent and sturdy by adding wood and nails is because one, we live at a rental and anything we do here needs to be temporary because if we one day have to leave, then we need to take everything with us. The other reason that I tied up with string is because you've seen how many times we move our compost pile depending on what suits our needs the most. We keep trying to figure out systems that work for us. So if I make this beautiful, structurally sound compost pile with wood and nails that's in one place, then it makes it a lot harder for me to try and move it or rearrange it or change it up. So I highly recommend, and I think I will continue to, even on our own property one day, to use string to tie up my compost pile as opposed to making it sturdy and permanent. Look at this little cutie enjoying the shade. Yeah, he's so cute. Sam is just doing all the grass in the new garden so that I can cover it up with cardboard and a tarp. I'm gonna go grab some sticks, most likely the ones from the tea tree down the road, and I'm going to use those to stake up my tomatoes. And I also want to share with you guys a garden that I've hardly gone to, you've hardly gone to, but we definitely know it. So let me show you where the potatoes used to be for the very first time and what I have growing there now. So the cool thing about this garden behind me is that literally since I've planted it, I've done absolutely nothing. And so this garden really has been raised by the rain and the sun and just the environment we have around here. I've just given it a really good weed as well because the weeds were loving where they were. But here I have some pumpkins that were volunteers that I brought over here, and I just kind of went, look, I'm gonna plant them and see how they go. I've also got some watermelon that I'm really excited that I planted here, and that's starting to do things now. I thought it was dead, so I'm really excited and I hope it works out. There's some volunteer tomatoes here as well, and a zucchini plant as well. And so far it's doing okay considering I haven't even gone here. Right, Bugsy. You doing some weeding as well? You whippersnippering with your mouth? Yeah. Good job. Good job. Eat the grass. I think there's a potato plant growing under the feijoa tree. Doesn't this look like potato? It looks like potato to me, so I must have thrown a potato away in here and it's just decided to grow. How cool is that? It's looking really good too. Look at all the chickens seeking sanctuary under Sim's car. So it seems like the rains are back and I will not be going to my garden again today. The valley is just whitewashed with fog and mist. It's amazing. The little sheep are under their shelter, loving it. But I'm definitely not mad. I did a lot yesterday. I laid my cardboard down, which is going to prevent those weeds from coming up as this rain comes down. I'll take this day of rest. It's almost 8 o'clock. I've spent most of the day inside because it's been raining and foggy all day. As the sun begins to set and the fog has finally gone away, I have this itch to do something in my garden. It's probably because I've been writing about my garden. Maybe it's because I've been inside all day, and I mean, I did come out and help the wombat at some point today, but mostly I've been inside. So I'm going to come outside. I'm going to plant some radishes, carrots, and some greens because these are 3 things that grow really well through most of the seasons, and for some reason I don't have them planted in my garden right now. Eris, as always, watching the chooks as they munch away. My shoe just broke, so I'm going barefoot on the grass. So nice. You can see the straw we put on is almost all completely gone. It breaks down over time and it turns into little pieces, and essentially all of the nutrients leaks right back into the soil. So you don't really need to add amendments to it. Of course, if you're having nitrogen loving plants, then you want to feed it as much as you can, but essentially by having this kind of material on top of your bed, each year you're adding more nutrients to the soil. I know my soils are healthy and doing really well because they're dark and rich in color, but also I find little mushrooms growing everywhere, and mushrooms are a sign that there's mycelium in the soil, which is the web of life, really. Good morning, another day, another adventure out. So far it's not raining, but it is forecast to rain very soon. I've got my smoothie for this morning. I've tried grapefruit, banana, yogurt, water, and I also added some lemon myrtle and Kakuta plum powder that I got from, I think they're called Kakuta Co. So for anyone that wants to support and love native edibles and just doesn't have the space in their garden or the want to grow really large, incredible trees or bushes of berries, if that's just not your cup of tea, you can still access these really incredible ingredients and use them in your cooking, in your smoothies. And the lemon myrtle is so subtle and yet so delicious. I think it makes this, like, it's really surprisingly good. I just want to show off this chicken because she literally looks like she has a beard. Oak, can you please move out of the way? We have a nice clear day for the most part so far this morning. It was due to rain until I think 12 o'clock today, but it hasn't. So I'm going to take advantage of this. And I actually have a few fun ideas for trellises to add into my new garden. So the Three Sisters garden. For my tomatoes and for some of my melons and my squashes. It looks like the sheep are just laying about. I hope they're not sick. Hi sheep, sheep, sheep. Sheep, sheep. Why is there an egg here? What the heck? Sheep, sheep. Hey guys, you okay? Hey. Sheep, sheep. My leeks are all starting to come up now, which is exciting. I don't think I showed you guys, but I planted some more leeks in this garden bed the other day. So we'll see how they go. And I have been bad with it this summer because of all the rains we've had. And also we've been so busy and flat out the last few weeks. But I'm going to try get back into successive planting. So things like the root vegetables and the greens. Every couple of weeks, maybe every week, I'm going to plant some fresh new ones, and that way we just have an abundance for a long time. It's something that I guess I've never had to do, so I've never trained myself in doing it, you know, plant something and then plant it again in a little while's time. But yeah, I think it's going to be necessary. I wonder when the rain's going to come. It kind of feels like it's coming now. The mission today is to get all my tomato plants safe, up off the ground, looking good, feeling fab. Eris, why are you out there? Come here. As if you're going to go through there. Unbelievable, you. How's our massive pumpkin? Huge. Wow, and heavy. Look, they're not looking glamorous or beautiful, but they're definitely going to be a lot sturdier against those stakes. I've removed all of the dead leaves as well because last year I learned that by trimming off the excess leaves, you're putting more energy into the fruit rather than the leaves, and you're going to have healthier and more abundant crops. So that's exactly what I've done. Looking heaps better in here. How did you get in here? Oh, what a terror. You've overstayed your welcome, sir. Get it. While I'm here, I might as well pick a couple of beetroots because we got so many. There you go. One can stay. All right, and the last thing that I would like to do Or I mean, I say the last thing, but we all know me. I'll most likely do it and then find something else I want to do. That's the absolute joy of having a whole day to dedicate to my garden. I love school holidays. We've been hoping to get a wood chipper for ages now so that we could chip all of this straight back into the forest, use it as mulch in our gardens, all of the stuff we love doing, and we couldn't get our hands onto a wood chipper. Our friend Anne had a go at lending us her wood chipper, which just didn't do anything to these tea tree. But now the South Coast Hire actually has a wood chipper that they give you, they lend you, and you can use it, and it's huge. So I think we might have a way to wood chip soon, which is very exciting because I want this gone. Come on, Eris. Come on. Let's go home. We are about to have our own pork loin with some veggies harvested right from our garden. Everything is ours except for the sweet potato. So Sam's cooking dinner and I'm thinking about all the things that I want to do tomorrow, and I've decided, since he's already outside and always appreciates my company, and also because I'm feeling antsy, I might as well go and harvest now instead of waiting for tomorrow. Anything could happen. Tomorrow might never come and I'll never get to harvest, so might as well. I was just thinking today that it's just about time to start getting all of my crops ready for the autumn garden. And I started laying down cardboard in the garden. You saw that just the other day, and I started adding some more nitrogen to it as well. I think maybe tomorrow I might start planting a few like onions and garlics, brassicas, so broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And that got me motivated enough to come out to this Brussels sprout and actually harvest what's here. So we're having it for dinner and I'm really excited. And there's a few more on here that I might as well take off and then retire this plant, this tree, if you will. Cute. I'm surprised so many people say they don't like Brussels sprouts. I think they're so yummy. Like when the little leaves become all brown and garlicky. Oh, garlic can make you like anything. What else did I want to harvest? I forgot. Guess we can get some more beans. There is always more beans to get. So this is the size of bean you want to get. A little bigger than this is usually good for fresh eating. But when beans get this big, and they start bulbing up like this, then it usually means that they're good for seed or for collecting the beans from them. Not so good to eat. So I was really overrun with beans and I made the decision just to let it go. And so a lot of these will not be good to eat fresh. But I'll be able to save the seeds from them. The reason I'm retiring these beans, and they're beautiful and I kind of wish that I had let them go a little bit longer, but the reason I'm retiring them is because back here, my green beans have started to take off, so it won't be long before they start giving me fruit. I still have all of the yellow beans that I'm about to go and harvest as well. So, and our freezers are just full of beans too. So I have more than enough, and at this point, like, I just can't keep up with it all. Here's our little harvest. I'm actually really excited about this. So it turns out I didn't need my string at all. I ended up using the tea tree like spindly branches as well as the actual bark to tie up these different sticks onto my trellis, and now I'll be able to weave through my gooseberry and hopefully it'll grow up rather than just out. Keep things a little bit neater in here, but look how good it looks.